Hello students, I welcome you all to E-Pathshala. This is Dr. P.A. Rajeshwari, Assistant Professor in the Department of Food Science and Nutrition, Avinashalingam Institute for Home Science and Higher Education for Women, Coimbatore. Today we are going to discuss about the module Recipes with Cereals and Millets. A cereal grain is any grass cultivated for the edible component of its grain, composed of endosperm, germ and bran. Cereal grains are grown in greater quantities and provide more food energy worldwide than any other type of crop and are therefore stable crops. Cereals are more or less similar in protein content. The unique presence of glutenin and gliadinin in wheat makes it suitable for certain recipes. Glutenin or gliadinin is the protein which gives toughness and rubberiness to gluten. Cookery is not a chemistry, it is an art. It requires instinct and taste rather than exact measurement. Cereals provide energy, vitamins, minerals, fiber and phytochemicals. Cereals contribute about 1/4 of our energy requirements of a day. Cereals are packed with loads of fiber, mostly soluble fiber. They help prevent constipation and keep the health of the digestive tract. Soluble fibers help in lowering blood cholesterol level and keeps the blood sugar levels under control. Dietary fiber also helps to avert some types of cancer. Cereals also provide an important source of complex carbohydrates, magnesium, selenium and B complex vitamins, namely thiamine, riboflavin and niacin. Magnesium helps build bones, selenium works as an antioxidant and the B complex vitamins are essential for metabolism and maintaining a healthy nervous system. The grain's bran and germ layers contain a significant amount of minerals and vitamins. So, processed and unfortified cereal grains will lack all these nutrients. Cereal grains contain phytochemicals called orthophenols that work as antioxidant and may help prevent some types of cancer. Now let us see about the purpose of cooking. Raw grains cannot be taken into the body for they are neither appetizing nor digestible. The treatment to which they must be subjected is cooking. For the structure of the grains is such that cooking is the only means by which the coverings of the starch granules can be softened and broken to make them digestible. But this is not the only effect produced by cooking. Besides making raw cereals digestible, cooking renders them palatable, destroys any bacteria or parasites that might be present and by means of its various methods provide a variety of dishes that would otherwise be very much limited. Now let us see about the first step in the process of cooking. In the first place, the required amount of water should be brought to the boiling point, for if the water is boiling, the cereal will thicken more rapidly and there will be less danger of lumps forming. The salt should be added to the water in the proportion of 1 teaspoonful to each cupful of cereal. Next, the cereal should be stirred into the boiling salted water slowly enough to prevent it from forming lumps, and then being constantly stirred, it should be allowed to cook until it thickens. The process up to this point is called setting a cereal or grain. After the cereal is set, it may be boiled, steamed or cooked in the fireless cooker, but the method of cooking selected should be chosen with the view to economy, convenience and thoroughness. Well, we will see about cooking cereals and millets by boiling method. Cereals cooked in this way require constant watching and stirring, and even then it is difficult to keep them from sticking to the cooking utensils and scorching or becoming pasty on account of the constant motion. Sometimes, to overcome this condition, a large quantity of water is added and is in the boiling of rice. Still, as some of this water must be poured off after the cooking is completed, a certain amount of starch, insoluble material, is lost. Next, cooking cereals and millets in the double boiler. Probably the most satisfactory way in which to cook cereals so far thoroughness is concerned is in a double boiler. This method of cooking is known as steaming or dry steaming, and by it the food itself after it is set never comes within 6 or 8 degrees to the boiling point. In this method, the cereal is first set in the small or upper pan of the double boiler. This pan, which is covered, is placed into the large or lower pan, which should contain boiling water, and the cereal is allowed to cook until it is ready to serve. The water in the large pan should be replenished from time to time. For it is completely evaporated by boiling. The pan will be spoiled and the cereal in the upper pan will burn. This method of cooking has several advantages. Cereals to which it is applied may be partly cooked on one day and the cooking completed the next morning before breakfast, or may be completely cooked on one day and merely heated before they are served. Then, when cooked at a temperature slightly below the boiling point, the grains remain whole but become thoroughly softened because they gradually absorb the water that surrounds them. In addition, the long cooking that is necessary to prepare them at low temperature develops a delicious flavor which cannot be obtained by rapid cooking at the boiling point. Cooking cereals and millets in the fireless cooker. While the cereal is at the boiling point, this pan is covered tightly and placed in the fireless cooker, where it is allowed to remain until the cereal is ready to be served. The heat that the cereal holds when it is placed in the cooker is retained, and this is what cooks it. Therefore, while this method of cooking requires considerable time, it needs neither additional heat nor labor after the cereal is placed in the cooker. In reality, it is an advantageous way in which to cook cereals, since if they can be set and placed in the cooker in the evening, serve at breakfast time on the following day. Next, we will see about cooking the cereals and millets by dry heat method. An old method of cooking cereals or starchy foods is called browning or toasting, and it involves cooking them by dry heat method. A thin layer of grain is spread in a shallow pan and this is placed in a shallow oven. After the grains have browned slightly, they are stirred and then they are permitted to brown until even color is obtained. By this method, the flavor of the cereal is developed and their digestibility increases. Since grains keep much better after they have been subjected to the process of toasting, this means is used extensively for preserving grains and cereal foods. Cereals and millets can be subjected to different cooking methods. During the process of cooking, cereals and millets undergo various changes such as gelatinization, dextrinization, hydrolysis, crystallization, gel formation, retrogradation, etc. Various recipes such as bhatura, idli, dosa, appam, dokla, rice vada are the common examples of recipes prepared with cereals. Points to remember while cooking cereals and millets. Prevention of lumps. The direct addition of dry starch or flour to the hot liquid may cause lumps which are undesirable. When dry flour is added to hot liquid, the outer flour particles gelatinize and become sticky, and inside particles are unable to gelatinize while they remain as dry flour and lump formation takes place. This reduces gelatinization as the starch within the lump is not available for thickening. Lumps can be prevented by the following steps, which includes agitation. Flour should be added slowly and should be stirred well so that before the particles gelatinize, they get dispersed equally. Flakes and granules. Instead of flour, when the flakes and granules are used, lump formation is less. The particles are bigger and do not gelatinize immediately when put in hot water, hence no lump formation occurs. Paste. Cold water paste is made with flour before adding to hot water. Since water around each particle already gelatinizes the starch surrounding all the particles. Below the boiling point. Cereal flour can be added to water below the boiling point so that all the particles get dispersed before gelatinizing. Addition of fat. If the particles are fried in fat, all the particles get a coating of fat and stickiness and lump formation is avoided. Coming to the role of cereals in cookery. Cereals are used as thickening agent. Example, corn flour in custards, rice flour in pulsu, vermicelli in payasam, corn flour in white sauce and macaroni in soups. Cereals are used as coating agents such as maida paste in cutlets or breadcrumbs in cutlets. Cereals are used as beverages. Example, malted beverages. Cereals are used as desserts such as rice ghee, wheat halwa, etc. Cereals are used in making easy to cook products like macaroni, corn flakes and rice flakes. Cereals are used as covering for stuffing in case of samosa, poli, etc. Fermented foods made from cereals are used as breakfast foods or snacks such as idli, dokla. Cereals and millets can be subjected to different cooking methods. During the process of cooking, cereals and millets undergo various changes such as gelatinization, dextrinization, hydrolysis, crystallization, gel formation, retrogradation, etc. Various recipes such as batura, idli, dosa, appam, dokla, rice vada are the common examples of recipes prepared with cereals. Well, to gain practical exposure, let us now have a brief look at the steps involved in the preparation of few recipes using cereals and millets. In this module, first we will see about 3 cereal based recipes. Let me mention about the raw ingredients required for the preparation of each recipe and the method to be followed in a nutshell. Now let us see about the recipes. First we are going to see about the preparation of crispy bread. The ingredients required are bread slice 3 in number, onion chopped 25 grams, tomato, cucumber and cabbage chopped 25 grams, mayonnaise sauce 3 tablespoons, salt and pepper as required, breadcrumbs 1 cup and the oil for frying. Coming to the method, cut the corners of the bread and mix all the chopped raw vegetables, salt, pepper and mayonnaise. Then dip the bread in water and squeeze out the excess water. After squeezing out the excess water, keep the stuffing inside the bread and roll it in oval shape or to any desired shapes. Dip the breadcrumbs and deep fry it in oil. Now the hot, spicy bread is ready. Next we are going to see about the preparation of wheat poli, which is one common recipe in South India. The ingredients required for wheat poli are wheat flour 60 grams, jaggery 20 grams, Bengal gram dal 20 grams and oil for cooking. Coming to the method of preparation, make the flour dough and make dough balls. Cook the Bengal gram dal. Add jaggery to the cooked Bengal gram dal and mix it well. Stuff the dal mix inside the balls. Roll the balls and toast it by adding little oil. And the third recipe is spicy chicken roll. For this, all-purpose flour is used. The ingredients required are all-purpose flour 1/2 cup, chicken 100 grams, onion 1 medium sized chopped finely, tomato half small size, green chilli 1 in number, ginger garlic paste 1 tablespoon, red chilli powder 1 tablespoon, turmeric powder half a teaspoon, garam masala 1 teaspoon, coriander leaves half a cup, salt as required, and lemon half teaspoon, and oil for deep fat frying. The method involved is: make maida flour into a dough and roll them into sheets. Cook the chicken in cooker with salt and turmeric powder. Add oil in the pan, salt, onion, ginger garlic paste, green chillies, red chilli powder, tomato, garam masala, and at last add little salt. Then finally add chicken and lemon to the sorted items. Then stuff the stuffings inside the sheets and roll it and deep fat fry it and serve hot. This is one common recipe which is most liked by the children. Next, we will move on to recipes with millets. Millets are a group of highly variable small seeded grasses widely grown around the world as cereal crops or grains for fodder and human food. Millets are important crops in the semi-arid tropics of Asia and Africa, with 97% of the millet production in developing countries. The crop is favored due to its productivity and short growing season under dry high temperature conditions. Millets may not be the most common type of crop on table, but in fact this group of crops are highly variable seeded grasses and are cultivated throughout the world both for livestock feed and human consumption. It is mainly grown in developing countries, but its quick growing season and availability growing in relatively harsh, arid, dry environments make it an ideal crop for many countries. Millets are indigenous to many parts of the world. The most widely grown millet is pearl millet, which is an important crop in India and few parts of Africa. Finger millet, proso millet, and foxtail millet are also important crop species. Millets have been important food staples in human history, particularly in Asia and Africa. Major millets are most widely cultivated species. The important major millets are finger millet, proso millet, pearl millet, foxtail millet, and sorghum. Coming to its health benefits, some of the best health benefits of millets include its ability to protect heart health, protect from diabetes, improve digestive system, lower the risk of cancer, detoxify the body, boost respiratory health, optimize immune system, increase energy levels, and improve muscle and nerve health. Magnesium is considered one of the most important minerals for increasing the efficiency of insulin and glucose receptors in the body, thereby preventing diabetes mellitus. Millet as a rich source of magnesium is an important mineral for reducing blood pressure and the risk of heart attacks and strokes, particularly in case of atherosclerosis. Millet is also a great source of potassium, which further keeps blood pressure low by acting as a vasodilator. Dietary fiber eliminates dangerous bad cholesterol, that is LDL, from the system while promoting the effects of good cholesterol, that is HDL. Since they have high amounts of fiber, it helps in preventing problems like constipation, excess gas, bloating and cramping. Fiber in millet plays an important role in preventing the risk of breast cancer. It is scientifically proven that soluble fibers are the best way to prevent the onset of breast cancer in women. Many of the antioxidants found in millet, in addition to their beneficial impact on neutralizing free radicals which can cause cancer, they also clean up the toxins from the body, such as those in kidney and liver. Millets can significantly improve the quality of life for people suffering from childhood asthma and can also play an important role and can also prevent it from developing in the first phase. As wheat is a common allergen that is associated with asthma and wheezing, millets does not have the same components and does not have this negative effect. Hence, wheat can be replaced with millets. So, millets when consumed at regular intervals can definitely have good beneficial effects on human health. Now, we will see about 3 recipes on millets. First, Varagu Pongal. The required ingredients for making Varagu Pongal are Varagu 1 cup, ghee 2 tablespoons, cumin seeds 1 tablespoon, pepper 1 teaspoon, curry leaves 5 to 6, green gram dal 1/4 of the cup, chopped ginger half a teaspoon and salt as required. Method: soak varagu and dal together. Add ghee to the pan and add chopped ginger, cumin seeds and pepper. Add soaked varagarisi, green gram dal, water and salt. Pressure cook it and serve hot. Next is ragi puttu. We all know that ragi is one of the richest source of iron and it is a nutritious dish. The ingredient required for the preparation of ragi puttu are ragi flour 50 grams, coconut 50 grams and sugar or jaggery 25 grams. The method involved in the preparation of ragi puttu is very simple. Mix ragi flour with water to a consistency of breadcrumbs. Then put the flour, coconut and steam it in puttu maker. At last, after cooking, add sugar or jaggery. The third recipe based on millet is thinai biryani. As thinai has a very bland taste, when it is mixed with few of the spices and few vegetables, it becomes a very palatable and attractive dish. The ingredient required for thinai biryani are as follows: thinai 100 gram, onion chopped 50 grams, tomato chopped 30 grams, ginger garlic paste 2 teaspoon, green chilli 2 in number, red chilli powder 1 teaspoon, salt as required, garam masala half a teaspoon, mint 10 grams, lemon juice, lemon 1, curd 2 teaspoon, cardamom 4 in number, cinnamon 1 medium piece of bark, oil 40 ml and ghee 2 teaspoons. The method is very simple. Soak thinai in water for 10 minutes. Add oil in pan, then add cinnamon, green chilies, onion and other spices. When it gets fried, add ginger garlic paste. Then add tomato, chilli powder, garam masala and mint leaves. After that, add water, then lemon juice and curd, and after the water boils, add thinai. Pressure cook it and serve hot. Let us summarize that. Today, surely you might have learnt about few important aspects on cereal and millet cookery. Being comparatively inexpensive, cereals and millets form the staple diet and contribute to most of the calorie requirement and half of the protein requirement. Cereals and millets improve the quality of pulse protein. With the recent emphasis on the importance of dietary fat reduction and increased complex carbohydrate intake, cereal grains are made to order. They are excellent sources of starch and B-complex vitamins. Cereals and millets also contribute to satiety value and are used to prepare the main dish. No meal can be made without cereals. Hence, cereals and millets prepared by correct cooking methods and consumed in correct proportion will definitely have positive health benefits and prevent the occurrence of various lifestyle diseases. Well, the main purpose of cereals and millet cookery are to improve palatability and digestibility.